Hello guys, and welcome to yet another review on N&T Auto Reviews. My name is Tyler, and as I promised to some of you, we have a pretty special review coming for you guys today. This is the 2017 Maserati Levante. Now before we get started, I'd like to give a big thanks and special shout out to Valenti Maserati here in Hartford, Connecticut for allowing me to check out the car in today's video. If you're interested in purchasing any Maserati, all of their contact information can be found in the description box. So this car is fitted with a fair amount of options. First, this car does have the premium package, which gives you a remote start, front and rear parking sensors, blind spot assist. It also does have the surround view camera system, the kick sensor for the rear hatch. You also have your metallic finished roof rails and a panoramic sunroof. So coming around to the side of the vehicle, your wheelbase stands at 118.3 inches, and you do have this beautiful black color, which is called Nero Rebelle, and it is one of 13 color options available. And the Levante does come standard with all-wheel drive. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start getting into detail up here on the front, starting with the headlamps. Now your headlamps are bi-xenon bulbs used for both your high and low beams. You also have LED daytime running lights, and you also have projector fog lights down below. And it's got a really nice shape to the bulb there, really cool looking. You also have your parking sensors going all the way across the front bumper. Really aggressive air intakes down at the bottom there. And you have a really great looking grille there. Really aggressive. You also have your front camera, which is part of your surround view camera system. That is optional. Really great looking front end to this car. So checking out the wheels, these are your standard wheels coming on the Levante. They are 19-inch wheels, and you have the sort of alloy color over here and then the gray pockets in there. And the tires measure 265/50. You do also have two other wheel choices available. Over here you have your signature air inlets there for Maserati. You also have the plastic coming all the way around the bottom and around the wheel arches, so it doesn't scratch your paint. You have turn signal mirrors right here that do fold in. They are power folding as well. And you also have the camera at the bottom, again for your surround view camera system. You have chrome door handles with your smart key access system. Coming around back here, you see you have ventilated disc brakes just like in the front. You also have your 5 lugs as well. Beautiful Maserati emblem up here. You have a spoiler, and you see your metallic roof rails up there. Now back here we see you have your LED tail lamps. Very nice design for them. You also have your rear wiper up here. Maserati badging. And chrome going all the way across there. You also have your rear backup camera. As well as your quad exhaust tips back here. And you also have your parking sensors going along the bottom of the bumper as well. So now let's go ahead and take a look underneath the hood. So under the hood on the Levante, we will find a 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 putting out 345 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. The Levante S comes with the same engine, but it is upgraded. You could actually see the engine in this car, small engine cover. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check out the interior, but not before demonstrating the smart key access system. So the way this system works is you have to have the key fob in your pocket or on you, or at least close to the vehicle in order for this system to work. So now, for example, this car is unlocked at the moment, but if you want to lock it, all you have to do is tap that button right there, and the mirrors will fold in for you. Now if you want to get back in, all you have to do is put your hand behind the handle and it will unlock for you. So the interior color of this car is called Cuyo, and it is one of 11 different color options you can order on this car. Now this color has to be probably one of my favorite because I am a big fan of these saddle color interiors, and that's kind of what it is. So let's start down here with this speaker system. So standard, this is your standard speaker system, and you have 8 speakers as standard. Now you have 2 other premium options. One is a 14 speaker Harman Kardon system, or you can also opt for an 18 speaker Bowers and Wilkins system. So you can definitely customize what you want with the audio system there, which is pretty cool. Now starting off here in the door panel, you have some really nice dark accents. You also have some metallic accents for your trim and your door handle as well. Now over here you have your 2-person memory. You have some really beautiful stitching coming around the door and up on your handle there. You have your unlock and lock buttons here. You have your window lock, rear windows, front windows, your mirror controls, and you can also fold your mirrors in and out. Air power folding. And you also have a little storage bin right there that is nicely carpeted. So to the left of the dash you have some really nice materials up here, and it's a really nice soft touch. You have stitching all the way up here. Great quality in this car. You have some really nicely accented air vents. You have all of your lighting controls, your fog lights, and you also have your ignition switch off to the left there. Down here you have your pedals. They're covered in rubber so you don't lose your grip, and you have a nice dead pedal there as well. And your hood release is located over here. You also have your Maserati emblem on the sill plates. So you have 8-way powered seats, and that's not including your 4-way lumbar. And the seats are absolutely beautiful. Great quality here. You have stitching going all the way up the backrest and even around in your bolstering there. You have the Maserati emblem embossed in the headrest. So now let's go ahead and check out the rest of the interior. So I have the key for the vehicle. It's a very, very nice key. You have some metallic accents over here. You also have your lock, unlock buttons there. You have your trunk release and also the remote start. And one thing I'd like to point out is this is probably the heaviest key that I've ever had to review a car. But that's really nice because it definitely shows the quality of this car. So it's definitely got a really nice weight to the key fob there. So all you need to do to start the vehicle is make sure you have the key fob on the interior, your foot's on the brake, and you can press the dash or your dash monitor button there to the left, and the 3-liter V6 will roar to life. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off on this beautiful leather wrap steering wheel here. You have some really nice grip bolsters right here. And this steering wheel also is powered tilt and telescoping by a little lever right here. So you can go down, up, fore and aft, which is definitely a great feature when you're on the road and you need to adjust the steering wheel quick. So really, really nice steering wheel. You have some beautiful metallic accents pretty much surrounding all your buttons and around the airbag cover, you have the beautiful Maserati emblem there. So now over here, you have your cruise control settings. Set your speed over here. An adaptive cruise control system is available. This one is not equipped with it, although. Over here you have all of your sort of media settings. You have your phone button here, voice commands, and you also have some settings for your radio. Now on the back of the steering wheel you also have some controls. This is to change over here on the back, sort of like paddles, is to change through your radio stations. And on this side is your volume up and down, I believe. So behind the steering wheel on the left we have all of our wiper controls. You have your high beams as well as your turn signals. And over here we don't have a whole lot going on. But up here are these absolutely beautiful analog gauges. Now over here we have our speed gauge, of course, and the really nice needles that goes all the way up to 190 miles per hour. And up here we have our screen, which gives us all kinds of information about the car, such as tire pressure monitoring, oil life, and all that kind of good stuff. Then over here we also have our rev counter. And in that screen you'll always have your fuel gauge as well as your temperature gauge. Really nice quality dash. You see in a lot of cars, there's not a whole lot of quality in the dash, but this car has an absolutely beautiful dashboard. Definitely with the nice color combination, the black and the saddle color there, really gives it a nice touch. And now one of my favorite elements up here is the clock, the analog clock that Maserati gives you. Really nice touch. And down here we have our media screen here. You do have navigation as well. So I'm just going to go through some of the sort of menus that you have here. You have the radio menu right here. You have your climate control right here. You have all your different zones. Your fan speed is down here and your individual temperatures. It is a dual zone climate control. Also up here you do have your front and rear defrost and your recycling. Over here you have your two heated seats here for the driver and the passenger. And over here you have a really cool system here, which is your surround view camera rather. Now over here you have a bird's eye view, which is really cool. It uses the cameras underneath the mirrors as well as the cameras in the front and the back to give you a bird's eye view of your car. So you can see that there's a curb right there. While you're backing up, you want to make sure you don't hit that. You have a perfect view right there. You also have your backup camera right there with the guidance lines that turn as you turn the steering wheel. Then you can also choose just to have your individual cameras there, which is a really cool feature there. Really like that about this car. So over here is just kind of like all your apps. If your driver's heated seat is right there, so it's quick access. You also have your navigation. This is your map. You could of course go in and out. And also I've noticed that if you're familiar with Chrysler Group's Uconnect system, this is very similar to it, so you'll be right at home if you're familiar with that. Now up here you have your clock, your compass, as well as your exterior temperature, and that will always be there for you. So just keep that in mind there. You also have your air vents to the either side of the screen. Down here you have all your physical climate control buttons. You have your temperatures there and there. Your fan speed is in the middle. You have your recycling, AC controls, auto, and your front and rear defrost again. Now down here we have a really nice storage cubby. It goes in nice and deep. You also have your auxiliary USB and your SD card inlet there. And it's a nice cover. It's covered in the gloss black, which is very nice. Now coming down here, we have your gear selector for your 8-speed transmission. Now you have an unlock button at the back there, so make sure you press that. You have down into reverse, and when you go into reverse, your parking sensors come on, as well as your rear view camera. Down again brings you into neutral, down again into drive. So down here you have your traction control off button, and you also have your manual mode button. And your ICE mode is kind of like a wet weather mode, which will kind of restrict your power and everything, so you get the best amount of grip. Down here is pretty interesting. You have a sport mode, and there's kind of two settings to the sport mode. Now if you press it once, your exhaust valves will open. I'm not sure if you could hear that or not, and if you press it twice, another light will appear, and your air suspension will go down to its lowest setting, which is a really cool feature. Okay, so now let's take it out of sport mode. Now the suspension will rise up to a more of a normal setting. Now down here you have an off-road mode, so let's go ahead and check out what that looks like. It is now raising the suspension. So now that all that cool stuff is over with, now we can go ahead and take a look over here. So we can also use the screen with these rotary knobs if you don't want to use the touch screen. If you press this button right here, it'll bring up all your radio presets. You have a back button, and you have a 2-knob system. Now once you get used to it, it's really easy, but the bottom knob will kind of go ahead and go through your menus up there, and the top knob is your radio volume. So that is pretty cool system right there to use. You also have your 4-way hazards right underneath there, and you have a manual height mode that you can kind of go up and down between your heights, which is really cool in my opinion. One of the coolest features on any car I've reviewed yet. Now over here you have a couple of cup holders, and you also have a cigarette lighter. And over here you have your armrest, which is all padded in nice soft leather, and it'll open up in a two, so it'll kind of like split in two and open up for you. Down here you have a couple of cup holders and a bunch of storage. You also have a 12-volt power outlet. So coming up to here to your rear view mirror, you have a day and night mode. You also have some visors up here with a mirror and light, an LED light. So up here on the top we have a bunch of buttons up here. You have your trunk release, and you also have your airbag off button. You have parking sensors, as well as your panoramic sunroof controls. So how the sunroof works is if you press this button right here, you can vent it, and it'll go all the way up and over the rear glass. Now you can of course open it up all the way. You also have a shade that comes up automatically. And then your shade will come through like that, and it'll block 100% of the light. And you could stop it wherever you want it. It's a really cool system there for the panoramic sunroof. But now, let's go ahead and check out the rear cabin of this car. So the rear door handles do have the same smart key access system that the front did. And of course your rear windows are tinted a little bit, and they are frameless like the front. So really nice design back here again for the back doors. You have the same Cuyo leather right here, and then you have some black accents. You have your lock unlock buttons over here, a little bit of metallic work coming around the door handle. And you also have 2 speakers back here, and a little storage cubby. This is of course your window switch there, and it is one touch down and up. So down here we have these buttons for your floor mats, which are not in the vehicle at the moment. So now let's go ahead and climb in and see how much room we have back here. So I do have plenty of room back here. I'm sitting, the front seat is in a sort of normal driving position for me, and I'm about 5'10". You have a storage net back here to put some maps or whatever you need. Over here you also have some rear vents on the back of the center console. You also have 2 USBs and a power outlet. Very convenient, very good for long trips. And if you look up here, the panoramic sunroof continues nicely up here. You also have some grab handles and some LED illumination. Back here there really is no lacking of quality. You have the Maserati emblems embroidered in the headrest. You also have a couple of cup holders back here. Nicely padded armrest, and you also have a trunk pass-through. So very nice place to be back here in the Maserati Levante, of course. Now the headroom in the middle seat is a little bit short, but you really won't be sitting people back here that much, so it's not a big problem. Now let's go ahead and check out the front passenger space. Front passenger does have the same power adjustable features as the driver's seat rather does. You have a nice amount of storage in the glove box, and it is illuminated as well. Lined in carpet, very nice. So now let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. Now I did turn on the performance exhaust flaps, so they are open if you have something pretty cool to listen to. But all you need to do to open the trunk, because this has the kick sensor, is just wave your hand underneath the bumper, and it'll kind of beep at you to let you know it's opening. And we find a really good amount of space back here. You have a cargo cover that you can remove. You also have some nice LED illumination up the top. Really good amount of space, and you even have some extra space underneath here. You have cargo tie downs. You also have these straps where you can strap your bulkheads into. More LED illumination, and you can see that trunk pass through like we saw earlier. And the seats are 60-40 split. You also have some grocery bag hangers. This car would be a pretty cool grocery getter if you ask me. You also have a 12-volt power outlet. So to close the trunk, there's a button right there, and again it'll beep at you just to let you know it's closing. And of course it is a power lift gate. So fuel economy for the 2017 Levante comes in at 14 city, 20 highway, and you have just over a 21-gallon fuel tank. So to wrap up this video, I hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth review of the 2017 Maserati Levante. I know I certainly did.